about the parting letter President Obama left for him on the day of his inauguration. President Obama seen here through the window of the Oval Office, slipping the letter into the Resolute desk. It was addressed to Mr. President. President Trump has shown the letter to White House visitors, and now, for the first time, CNN has an exclusive look at the contents of that special letter in which President Obama offered congratulations and some words about the office. I will read it for you now in full. Congratulations on a remarkable run. Millions have placed their hopes in you, and all of us, regardless of party, should hope for expanded prosperity and security during your tenure. This is a unique office without a clear blueprint for success, so I don't know that any advice from me will be particularly helpful. Still, let me offer a few reflections from the past 8 years. First, we've both been blessed in different ways with great good fortune. Not everyone is so lucky. It's up to us to do everything we can to build more ladders of success for every child and family that's willing to work hard. Second, American leadership in this world really is indispensable. It's up to us through action and example to sustain the international order that's expanded steadily since the end of the Cold War and upon which our own wealth and safety depend. Third, we are just temporary occupants of this office. That makes us guardians of those democratic institutions and traditions like rule of law, separation of powers, equal protection, and civil liberties that our forebears fought and bled for. Regardless of the push and pull of daily politics, it's up to us to leave those instruments of our democracy at least as strong as we found them. And finally, take time in the rush of events and responsibilities for friends and family. They'll get you through the inevitable rough patches. Michelle and I wish you and Melania the very best as you embark on this great adventure, and know that we stand ready to help in any ways which we can. Good luck and Godspeed, B.O. Barack Obama. Back again with our panel. What did you make of that letter?
Well, I think that the letter was very gracious. It was a clear roadmap for a new administration coming in. And also, I think it was especially magnanimous of President Obama, given the fact that Donald Trump led the birther movement in an effort to delegitimize our first African-American president. He rose above that, and he moved forward to give some ideas with words of wisdom that I think should be listened to.
There are a lot of now 8 months in, I guess, some of these sentences are kind of looked at with a different context now. And one of them, and Mr. Secretary, I want you to respond to this, I want to highlight. We are just temporary occupants of this office. That makes us guardians of those democratic institutions and traditions like rule of law, separation of powers, equal protection, and civil liberties that our forebears fought and bled for.
And I think there's a kind of a hidden message there. I think there's also the concern that because President Trump comes from the private sector, you know, you go in and you make decisions, and what you say becomes a mandate. All of a sudden he's got Congress, he's got all these institutions. So I think there's a wise message there as well, that, you know, this is a job that starts and it ends. It's for 4 years or 8 years, but don't settle in so much. I thought it was a very good message, actually.
Senator? You have, I mean, I
thought you were going to her.
Oh no, I was just going to ask, actually, because looking at you, knowing that you were originally one of his opponents for the Republican nomination for president, and you ran, as many others did, as somebody who knows the ways of Washington. Here you have President Obama, now we know, again, for the first time, kind of trying to explain in this private letter to Donald Trump, who had never been in Washington, worked in Washington at all, the ways. Do you think that he, President Trump, is heeding this advice?
Well, I think what President Obama did was, you're probably right. I mean, just sort of to give more of a rudimentary understanding of here's what the White House is, with maybe the expectation that President Trump needed something like that. He probably wouldn't have given a similar letter to someone who had a lot of experience in Washington, D.C. No, I don't think President Trump has necessarily heeded a lot of that advice. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious that he's decided to do things differently, and that's shaken up a lot of people in this town, and you know, for good or evil. I still believe that we're too early in this process to really make a decision on how Donald Trump is doing. I think there's a lot of things he's done through his administrative actions that has gotten this economy going. There's a lot of positive things that he's been able to do. He's still very, very much short on the legislative front, and hopefully in the next month we'll see some of those fortunes change.
And let's talk about the human and personal part of this, Neera. You just saw that it was about 8 months ago that President Trump genuinely was touched by Barack Obama reaching out and saying the things that he did, and they did, at least, I don't know, for a week, have kind of a good, it seems to be a good working relationship as president and former president. That didn't last long.
No, I mean, it was, I think, within a few weeks that President Trump accused President Obama of spying on him or using the deep state against him. And I think more importantly, I think the rule of law issues are incredibly vital. And actually, I've been listening for years to conservatives argue how the presidency is a presidency of limited powers, that there is no king. In fact, we were just talking about that a little while ago on DACA, but here we have a president who's attacked judges, who attacks the press. Those are all ways in which we limit the power of office holders. And I think he has done everything to ignore the advice that a president actually is not a king. A president has limited powers. Congress is a co-equal branch, even as his attacks over August against Republicans as well as Democrats show that he thinks that he's their boss. So I hope he sees the letter on CNN and remembers that he is a person, the president is a very strong president in the United States, but not of unlimited power, and that everything he does to attack judges, attack the press, are basically saying no accountability on me.
We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for this extended State of the Union. I am Dana Bash in Washington. Thank you so much for watching.